Oh, hi there. So, Black Friday was good to Sister Minbow. If by good, I mean slightly expensive, because there was a lot of sales this time around on Amazon US, and a lot of them were in the supplies. There weren't a lot of sales on books, but things like Hemi, gouaches and stuff and there were some pencils and some pens. And one thing I found were these Artecho Oil Pastels. Now, I've seen a few colorists use these, including, I believe Color with Maya uses them. They are, well, I would think they're maybe a slight step down from Mungio, but were very, very affordable for Black Friday. So let's look and see what I got. I wanted to show these to you. So this was the first palette I got, and I just wanted to try them out. I already had some Mungios, and so I thought, well, I don't have any neon. So to try out the Artecho, I thought I would look at the neons to see what I thought of them. Now they come in a little pack like this. They do have a plastic. It took me forever to figure out how to get this off. You have to be smarter than the plastic. Oh yeah, see, it fits really snugly on there. So here they are. Now they're not as oily as like a Paul Rubens, but I don't want that kind of oily. I want to be able to touch it. And I don't like a lot of stuff on my fingers. I find these really, really super creamy and very, very pigmented. So here is a swatch of them that I did, and you might have seen this on my mid-month December coloring wrap-up for the pages I've done so far. And they're beautiful and very bright, and I can't wait to use these on like a fun, bubblegum, happy, bright page. Maybe a background would be neat. So they're absolutely beautiful, and they go on really well. Now these have been sprayed with a permanent fixative, so they don't come off at all. I can still feel them. They've got kind of a texture to them, but they're not coming off. These had been rubbed on with the crayon itself, and then I used my finger to try to like push it into this is watercolor paper, so I wanted to try to push it in. So see, those are beautiful colors. And this was so affordable at Black Friday, and I don't think these are ever that expensive. So there's 12 of them here, and it's a neon rainbow. Well, I like them so well, and you know how this goes. I then went on Black Friday to see if there were any to see if I could get a full set. So I did. I got the full set. You might hear Jack tip-tapping around. These made a squeak when I put the lid on, and he doesn't like those squeaks, so he's gonna go hide for a while. He has very sensitive ears. So I found this, and I think it was like $15 or something like that. It was pretty affordable. And they look like, now they come with of course, just like a printed color swatch. And Artecho is Art Echo. It comes from Art Echo. So I wonder if it's pronounced Artecho. That might be. Anyway, it comes with a nice padding to keep them safe. And yes, so we'll put that down here. And look at these. Aren't these pretty? Yes, so many colors, all the colors you could possibly need. And they blend together. They are extremely smooth, and I did swatch them. So here's their swatch. So here's the reds, and I really like to blend these two together, and you'll see a page. I have a video of me doing that, and then you'll see the finished page. It's a really pretty red. Look at that. Wouldn't that be great for some skin? So with this, for some skin. So with that. Beautiful, huh? And then here's the greens and blues. And see, they're very opaque. Very, very opaque. again, these are fixed and they don't come off once they're fixed. Now they do need to be fixed though. You can let them dry overnight or for a couple days, and then the page will be a little bit easier to work with, but they still will come off on your fingers until you fix them. And these grays, aren't these stunning? And I just love this fuchsia color. And tortilla is one I can see myself using a lot. So those are the colors. They swatch beautifully and they're absolutely gorgeous. Then let me show you something I did with them. Now this is a work in progress, and this is from one of my favorite books, the Yokai book. And I actually did my first like rainbow background that I actually like. And it was so easy. I just basically started with this yellow. I may have these out of order now, but I went bright yellow, darker, and then I went to some oranges and to some reds. So I just basically followed the rainbow and went down, and I rubbed them directly on the paper and then blended them out. Now I don't use my finger. I couldn't get into these little areas if I did anyway. So I used a Q-tip. In the United States we call these Q-tips. I think you call them cotton swabs. I use this and it works for most of the colors. Some of the colors, like the reds, it kind of picked up the pigment. So, but I did the best I could. And then later I saw a video of someone who used a tortillon. You know, those paper, let me grab one. I usually have lots of them hanging around. That's not one. These sorts of things, and just rub. That worked better. So the paper tortillon ones work better than the Q-tips, I think. It leaves the pigment on the page and doesn't tend to pick up the pigment. So look how bright those yellows are. Isn't that beautiful? And it's just, I mean, they blend together seamlessly, much better than like Distress ink. And it was so fast. I mean, it was just minutes to do this background. Now, did it get everywhere? Yes, it did. But I found out it can be erased. I first tried this Magic Rub Prismacolor, and it didn't touch it at all. Nothing happened. So then I tried another eraser that I also got out of a Prismacolor kit, I think. And it's just a white plain rubber eraser, and erased it, and it worked fantastic. It can get it almost completely off. So I was able to clean up the lines the best I could. And then I just used acrylic paint pen anyway around the clouds. So I wasn't too careful around the clouds because I knew I was going to cover the lines with that Tulle white paint pen, a thick nibbed paint pen. So this is I'm still working on him, but didn't that turn out neat? And it was so easy and so fast. So I'd like to show you a process video of me using these wonderful oil pastels. So let's do that. Okay, so these are the new to me Artecho Oil Pastels, the 48. And aren't they beautiful? I love them in that rainbow order like that. New mediums are always so fun to break into. So here I am going to use a combination of scarlet and crimson. I really like, as you can see from all over my hands, I really like those two colors. So here everything is in Hemi gouache, including the shading on the deer. And these are the two colors I'm going to use. That's the beautiful swatching I've been doing. And you can see that I started on the body of the deer. So the body of the deer is what I'm going to be coloring. Now the darker lines, the darker shaded areas is in Hemi gouache. And as you will see, the very creamy, very smooth oil pastel, I'm not necessarily coloring over what I've painted too thickly, but I will be blending it out over that, and it still lets the Hemi gouache shine through. So I'm using the two different reds sort of interchangeably. And then here, this is one of those paper, it's like a tortillon thing.
And I have found that they work really, really well in any kind of blending stump. I find that better than a cotton swab. And see, I'm just blending over what I've painted. And yes, some of the oil pastel ends up staying on the paint, but it's not masking it. And I think that effect is really neat. And see how easy this blends? I'm not putting much pressure on it at all. You can see how relaxed my fingers are. And it comes out looking so smooth, like velvet. And it will keep moving. You can keep working with it if you want certain, I don't know, textures in it or patterns. You can make that happen by by blending in different directions. It stays pretty much workable for a couple days, and then it's not really workable anymore, but it's not fixed either. So you do have to fix this with some sort of permanent fixative when you're finally done. But I wanted to, this page in Circle of Nature by Karolina Kubakowska, I wanted to do something sort of monochromatic, but I didn't have enough reds in any one medium, so I bounced around with mediums a little bit. And I've got the Super Golden Marker outlining the antlers and the nose, and I have Hemi gouache everywhere. And then I think the antlers are a watercolor. No, I think they might be gouache as well. But I was kind of run out of reds, and I wanted the deer to look a little different, to have sort of a different texture. And I thought, why not experiment with these oil pastels? And like I've said in other videos, if you're going to experiment in a book with fantastic paper so that you know that the paper is not going to be an impediment to getting the result that you're looking for. So you're not fighting paper too, because the last thing I needed here was to be using a new medium with a new technique that I'm just making up on the fly, and then have the paper also to fight with. So I'm happy with this technique, and I'm going to continue on and finish up this page, and then I'll be able to show you what it looks like when it's all done. So I'm going to leave you here, and I'll be back in just a few seconds and show you what I did.
See how easy that was? So fast. And here's the finished page. The reason, I think I probably talked about this during the process, but I had already put gouache down on everything else, and I had pretty much used all the reds in my Hemi gouache kit, and I wanted something this vibrant but smooth, and I had already put down the gouache for the shading, and I didn't know if the oil pastels would work, but they did. When I rubbed over them, they left the color. I was real careful to not put too much over the shading so you could still see the shading, and it was so fast. And doesn't it look smooth and velvety? And then just for some bling, I used, of course, Super Golden Markers in the red color and outlined just about a few of the leaves and antlers, and of course his nose. So that was all done with these very special oil pastels, and I really, really highly recommend them. So keep an eye on Amazon. They do go on sale, more often so than the Mungios. I have the Mungio Aquarelles. I have the water solubles, and I love them. I have not yet tried just the Mungio regular gallery oil pastels. I hear they are fantastic. I've seen work that they've done, so I'm sure they're fantastic too. I would choose whichever's in your budget, really. But these are fantastic. I don't know why I would need anything else. So thanks for watching this video and learning about this fantastic medium. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.